This course is broken up into what we refer to as modules. There's 5 modules, one each month, and each module contains a different subject matter. For example, Module 1 is understanding business. That may seem like a strange topic for covering the supply chain industry, but as you'll learn in the program, supply chain logistics is a business. And we want students to make sure they understand all the different aspects of running a business and business itself in order to see how the supply chain fits into that. The second module we get into is all about domestic transportation. There's many forms of transportation. We talk through each one of them. We talk through the legal aspects of it, the pricing aspect, the history of transportation. So we cover that in quite a bit of detail. The third module, we get into supply chain itself. The supply chain is big. I mean, that's a term that's probably overused a lot. But supply chain deals with all the way from the beginning of the process, which is the acquisition of raw materials, all the way through inbound logistics, warehousing, manufacturing/operations. You have the outbound logistics side, which is more warehousing, more transportation, and eventually delivery of that product to the store so that you and I as consumers can come in and buy it. So in that third module, we will cover all the pieces within the supply chain. We'll cover inventory control. We'll cover manufacturing. We'll cover both inbound, outbound logistics, distribution as a strategy within your supply chain. So we get into a lot of detail in each one of those. Then we get into the fourth module. This is where we start talking specifically about international supply chain, international logistics, the modes of transportation as they relate to international business, the legal aspects, the contracting internationally, insurance from an international perspective, which is a lot different than domestic insurance. How do people get paid when dealing overseas and dealing with customers that are 6,000 miles away? Incoterms, which is about terms of trade, and it sets the requirements and how we're going to do business and where legal liability transfers on the product. So again, we will cover all those different aspects of international business, which is a lot of detail. The fifth module deals with supply chain strategy. So after we spend the first 4 months talking about all these different aspects of the supply chain, then we get into that final month saying, okay, how do we actually use that in running our business? And that's very critical. At the end of that, the student is then required to write a paper, which is not that difficult, but we want students to pick a subject related to supply chain and logistics and write a paper on that. And that's just our way of making sure that they understand what they've learned over the course of the previous 5 months.